Hey, welcome back to the channel and a happy Monday morning to all of you. Today, of course, is our miscellaneous Monday, so we're going to be doing some uh, kind of random stuff here and there. Um, just whatever seems to be fun at the time. It's kind of where I'm rolling with it. If you see on the screen, we have the Waffle, which I don't believe I've done before, and I've got an Antiwordle. I'm going to try to hide that ad when we get to it. I think those are the two I'm going to try to do. I tried to do other puzzles this morning, and I had some technical difficulties, so I'm going to run with these instead. So Waffle, essentially the rules are, and it might just tell, we can just look through them here. So solve the waffle in 15 or fewer moves. Every waffle can be solved in a minimum of 10 moves. You get a star for each whatever you have solved, and you have to just rearrange the letters into correct words horizontally and vertically. And it'll tell you, which ones are green would be the ones that are in the correct place. Yellow would be that they're in the word but not in the position, and then the white or gray, however you see, is just not in a correct position. So looking at the puzzle here, the S, G, T, R, O, T, E's are all in the correct positions. The N and the R, well, let's look at the N first. The N, we would know, is in this word, but it's not in that location. The R is either in this word or this word. We don't know, and it's not in the right position for either of those. So where's the good place to start, I guess? Well, the R would seem to need to go up here, and an E would probably come in to get retro, because the R has to be in this word somewhere. The U is probably in this word somewhere. Like shrug. If we're going to move the R up to there, we'd have S something, R something, G. The U would need to be in here. It wouldn't be S, U, R. So it'd be S something, R, U, G, and then H works perfectly fine there. Now, we can't do an easy swap on those to get them all to line up. And the idea, like I said, is to try to do it in the least number of swaps as possible. So if we were to say, well, there needs to be a T here and there needs to be an E here, we can do that direct swap without having to do a couple of multiple swaps. What else do we have? This R needs to be in this word going up and down here, but it's not in the second position. Could it be the fourth position or the third position? I do not quite know. Well, it could be gorge, G-O-R-G-E, so that both the R and the G are in this word. They would just shift down. That would use up our O, which I don't think we had used yet. No, we hadn't. And what about down here? Now, all of the R's are shown that they are in whatever word there, or whatever row or column that is a word. So there's none of them that we. What I'm trying to say is, if any of these, since these are all yellow, we couldn't say that the R could go here because there would have to be an R somewhere that was white. So we can't ever put R here, 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 or here. Now I think we know this R goes up here and this R goes down here. Now this R being yellow, if we know the R is here, that could technically be pointing to that R, I guess. So maybe it is possible this R could go into one of these other slots. Or the other way around even. This R could go into one of these slots, because both of these R's could be pointing right here. And therefore, once you move one of them over, the other one no longer has a place. So we're going back to see what could this word be. It could be trove, Trove. That would work. And every word I've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be anything that's a direct swap. So it might do me some good to move some things around just to make sure I'm on the right track. Now, I'm not super concerned about getting a perfect score. That would be ideal, of course, but so let's give it a go. Let's see. So it is Trove. We now know there has to be a U in here. What could this word be? So we have to get an R. I'm just going to do this because I think it's right. And we know the R has to go up in here. We know the E has to go down here. We know the U had to get over here. The H. Okay, we did get a good swap there, although I'm running out of swaps now. This is probably utter. And then shunt. So I don't think we can do any better than just that. So yeah, that was correct. I like it. What did that say? Have some stars. Good morning. Oh, if you didn't know, it's International Tiger Day. I didn't know that. So there we go. You learn some information when you play your waffles. All right, let's jump over to Antiwordle. And goodness, this I don't want to have this stupid thing on my screen while I'm doing this. So maybe that'll get rid of it for now. So Antiwordle, if you don't know, is similar to Wordle, except what we're trying to do is not guess the word. So the idea is to use the most least used letters in the words that you're trying to determine. And it'll tell you here, so the same kind of concept as Wordle. A gray outward or letter means it's been used. It's not in the word. But and I'll get to that part in a second. So yellow means that the if a guessed letter is in the word but not in the right place, and red means that it's in the correct place. Now, if I believe there is a rule that, and what part of what this says here is you can't use it again, is you can't just reuse letters that you know are not in the word. If you could, you just write the same word every time and you'd be done. So let's jump back into this and try to figure out what are bad words. That's kind of a tough thing to do. I know there's things that you could do like Zilil and stuff like that. That'll get you a pretty good chance of not having one of those letters be on there. But another thing I think, which is a good way to go about it, is using multiple letters. So if you can use 2 or 3 of the same letter in one guess, you're saving other letters from being used, so therefore you can use them later on more effectively. So that's why something like Zilil, and I can't even remember how it's spelled. I think it's spelled like that. It's an appropriate word, as it is a real word. I don't know what the heck it means, to be honest with you, and it doesn't use any good letters. So let's type that in. So yes, Zilil. So we get all of these are not in the word, but we can no longer use X, Y, or L in any of the other guesses we do. So now we have to figure out another word that has uses letters that are unlikely to be in the actual word. Q, W, K, maybe even G and Z, of course, are kind of the good ones to do because they're not very common letters. The question on that is, though, how do you use those without using some really good letters to go along with them? Because if you use the good letter, there's a good chance that you're going to find a letter. And you have to, if you also find a letter that's in the word, you have to use that letter again in your next guess, and you can't put it in the same place that you just put it in. So those are kind of the little quirks of this game. So something like using a double Z would be great because it's highly unlikely you're going to use a Z in the real word, but you'd have to put some good letters with it, like pizza or something like that, where you have I and A. You don't want to use a bunch of vowels if you can avoid it. And I don't know a lot of bad words. Is that the right way to say it? Yeah, a lot of low usage words, to be honest with you. My vocabulary is not that impressive. I only know Zilil because I've seen other people do this type of puzzle in the past, and that tends to be something that's used because it works quite well. Like I said, I don't have any clue what it actually means. So, what other words can we use that are going to help us here? I can't think of anything that doesn't just use at least one or two really good letters here. So I am kind of tempted to use pizza, even though there's most likely going to be an A or an I somewhere. The P may or may not be. It's not one of the letters that's much more common than others is, but I and A clearly are. Yeah, I'm just going to put it in there and see what happens. Ooh. So that was a big mistake. The P is the first letter in this word, so we have to keep using it. And we also found an I, which means we have to use it somewhere. So we now have to guess, 3 more words that start with a P and that contain an I without actually guessing the word. Can I even think of any words that have P and an I in them? I mean, like you could do something like piano, but the A is already gone, so and the I can't be in the second spot. So what else? I don't know if primo is an actual word. It's not a good word to guess either, because it could very well be correct. PR, PH, those types of things are probably going to be the most likely. I can't do something like psalm, because we've used the A and the L already. So PS would be an odd way of starting a word, so it'd be a good way to try to use up a guess. But so what words can I even think of? So primo is possible, right? Yeah. And print is possible. Rice is possible. I just see all the PRs are coming up here that I can think of. And I have a feeling it's going to be one of those words. I really cannot think of any. That P right there just killed me. So, can I think of 4 different words? Or 3 different words? Well, I've already thought of 3 different words, but can I think of more that use some of these letters to possibly work around solving or not solving this puzzle? can't use the A. I can only use the O and the U if there is another vowel. So, like, point might be a... I mean, N and T are such good letters to use, though. Now, I could, if I can think of a word, use a double I, because we're not restricted from using that, but it would have to be P something, I something I, or something along those lines, but I don't like, or I can't think of anything that would actually work that way. So I think I'm being forced into just, oops, I already had the P in there, doing something like this, and then seeing if there's any way I can get around it. Oh, geez. So it was print. And there's absolutely no other way for me to get past this because there's probably only one word that fills this. So I have done a terrible job anti-wordling. Yeah, I don't think there's any other word that will fit in this. So I'm just going to type it and we are going to fail. 4 guesses, personal best. It's probably because I've never played this before. So to be able to have beaten this, I must have had to be able to get down and guess 5 words without guessing the actual word, and I chose very poorly on my second. So anyway, it didn't work for me today. Maybe you guys had better luck than I did, but I hope you enjoyed these. A little bit different than what I was expecting to start with today. Like I said, I had some technical difficulties with some other of the games that I was going to do, but anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.